Hey guys, thanks for coming into our range. Thanks for choosing us to shoot with today. What we want to do right now is talk to you about range safety and give you a range safety briefing and protocol on proper ways to do or not do things in our range. So as we walk into the range, if we have our guns in a case, we want to keep them cased. So as we get into the range, we can then either set our case down, take our jackets off, but we don't want to take our gun out of the case yet. What we want you to do is take your case. This line down here is our safety line. We don't have any loaded firearms that are not secured past that line. So I want to take my case into my bay. Once I've done that, that allows me then to uncase, set my firearm with the muzzle pointed down range. If you don't have it loaded, we suggest taking the magazine out and locking the slide back. That way you can set it down so others are also aware that your gun is unloaded and pointed down range. Now remember, even though it's not loaded, it's always the gun that goes off that we aren't checking. So we want to make dang sure, even though we know it's not loaded, we're going to treat it like it is loaded. We're going to always point it in the safe direction. What's the only safe direction in here is at our backstop. Okay, so we're going to now leave this. Then we can take this. If we want to, take your magazines with you. That'll allow you then to load your magazines back here if you want to keep your ammo and jacket and stuff back here. We can keep our cases back here. Notice what's not in my hands. There's not a gun. It's on our bench. What that allows us to not do is go, what did he say? What's going on? We want to make sure that we aren't doing that. On a side note too, when our gun's in the bay, if we're shooting with a partner, be it a buddy, boyfriend, girlfriend, son, daughter, wife, if you're sharing guns, the best way to do this would not be to pass a gun back and forth. What we suggest you do is, again, if it's loaded or unloaded, we're going to treat it like it's loaded no matter what. Point the gun down range. If you want to switch guns, switch bays. That allows us then to keep the gun here so we aren't walking around with a loaded gun. Then I can go, oh, come on, hun, you can shoot this gun. Then she can leave her gun there and allow me to step in there and shoot hers, and then she shoots mine. That way we're not passing guns back and forth and flagging people. Even though we think we're not, people are not aware of where their muzzle's pointed. So we want to make sure if it's always pointed down range, we're good to go. On that note too, our 4 firearm safety rules. We're going to treat every firearm as if it's loaded. Even if we don't think it's loaded, we're going to treat it like it's loaded, because it's always the gun that people think is not loaded that goes off. We're going to keep our finger off of and outside the trigger guard until we made a decision to shoot. So when am I going to decide to shoot? When my gun is on target, pointed down range. That's when I've decided to shoot. When I'm done shooting, my finger will come off of the trigger. Anything I'm doing with my firearm that is not shooting, my finger is not on that trigger. That would be holstering, that would be unholstering, that'd be reloading. All of that stuff that we try and practice here, finger is off the trigger. We want to make sure our gun's pointing in a safe direction. So the only safe direction inside the range is down range. We don't point it at the sidewalls. We sure as heck don't want to point at the back wall. We want to make sure our gun's always pointed down range. We also want to know our backstop and what's beyond it. Well, the nice thing is the range, that's the idea. Our backstop is made to stop rounds. So in that aspect, we don't need to worry about that. Then when we get in here too, another tip for you guys for safety. Make sure you check your ammunition, that you're using the proper ammunition for your gun. There have been issues in the past where people buy the wrong ammo. That's okay. We're here to help you with that. If you did buy the wrong ammo, come on and we'll exchange it for you. That's not a problem. But we want to make sure we know how our gun functions as well. If we don't know how our gun works, it's okay to ask. We want you guys to be safe. We want you guys to get smarter with your weapons and feel stronger because you have the education behind why you're doing what you're doing. Once you know the function of the gun and you got the proper ammo, again, following those 4 safety rules is key. So inside our range, anywhere from a 22 caliber up to and including a 44 mag. Unfortunately, we can't shoot 5.7 in here or 22 TCM. We do allow 22 rimfire rifles, and then your carbine rifles that shoot a pistol caliber are okay to shoot in here as well. Rapid fire. Rapid fire is a good one. So for me, I do like to shoot fast, and I think it's something that we do need to practice. But we want to do it in a controlled manner. So when we talk about rapid fire, if you're drawing and you're shooting 5 rounds and you're staying on target, that's acceptable. If you're just pointing down range and pulling the trigger and what we call horseplay, that's a no-go. We got to make sure that you're staying on target and being safe. We don't want our muzzle rising and shooting the ceiling. We don't want to be pushing down and shooting the floor. We want to make sure that we're controlling our firearm at all times. It's not controlling us. So when we have a malfunction, what we want to make sure we're doing, again, is the first thing we need to do is take our finger off of the trigger. We want to make sure we aren't adding to the problem. If it's a Stovepipe, it's an easy fix. You can lock the slide of the rear and let the shell fall out. You can tap and rack, making sure our finger's off the trigger. That'll allow it to fix. If it is a light primer strike, what we would like you to do is keep your gun pointed down range from anywhere from 5 to 25 seconds to make sure it's not a hang fire. Once you know it's not a hang fire, you can then safely remove the round, pick the round up, and then we're going to go over here to our green bucket. What that's going to allow us to do then is take that unfired round with a light primer strike, and we can stick it and bury it in the sand. The only thing this bucket is for light primer strikes, not brass. That way we know if something does happen, it goes off in a bucket of sand, and we're not waving our gun around. We don't want to pull our gun out of the booth and try and fix it back here. Everything happens in there. If you aren't sure or you're uncomfortable with it, set the gun down. If you have a safety, we strongly suggest putting the safety on and then setting the gun down. Come and get one of the range officers. We would be more than happy to come in and help you. Remember, there's no such thing as a dumb question. All right, so I did a mag change. My magazine is on the other side of the firing line. What can I do to get my magazine? Well, I don't want to kneel down and cross this firing line because there might be other people firing. We don't want to get muzzle blast or any of that kind of debris on us, stuff like that. We want to make sure we're being safe. If it does go forward to the firing line, we suggest you come and get a range officer and let them get it for you. Ammunition requirements for our range. What we allow for ammunition on our range is your full jackets and hollow points. We don't allow armor piercing, we don't allow tracer rounds, and we don't allow steel cased ammo. One of the common questions we get is, why don't we allow steel cased ammo? Believe it or not, it's not the casing that's the issue. What the bullet is made out of is a bimetal product, so they'll mix lead and metal. That can spark off of our backstop, causing fires. Most ranges, even outdoor ranges, have banned metal cased ammo because of that.